brand new poll that came out an hour and 4 minutes ago. And nationwide, amongst everybody, it's a two-point race. But when you look at the independents, and keep in mind, and we have said this a million times on this program, it's the independents who elect the president. Donald Trump is leading by 20 points over Hillary Clinton.
Judge Napolitano just joined us on the sofa. Can you believe this? Because we talked about, Reince Priebus predicted this. Like 2 weeks ago, he said Trump is going to be ahead Labor Day weekend, around Labor Day weekend, and now he is.
Well, she's had 3 very, very bad weeks, during the course of which she has not responded, except for the very small first interview in, 247 days, first press conference in 247 days on the back of her plane. And the essence of the bad news against her goes back to her reckless use of emails. I spent a day and a half, while Kilmeade was getting a suntan, I was reading the FBI documents. I read them in the Sun. And it takes about a day and a half to read them carefully and compare them with the public record that is already out there. And I can tell you that the conclusion is inescapable. She was seriously concerned about being indicted, and far more...
Why do you say that?
Because the answers that she gave to the FBI, if publicized by Donald Trump to the public, will be devastating to her politically, but helpful to her legally. The FBI was looking for how reckless was she with state secrets. She persuaded the FBI she wasn't involved in state secrets. She wasn't concerned with whether or not they were secret. Contrary to what she just said in the clip we just ran from her plane yesterday, she couldn't care less if something was marked confidential, secret, or top secret. That sort of obliviousness lessens the criminality in the mind of the FBI. But that sort of obliviousness, is that what you want in the mind of a Secretary of State or of a President of the United States?
You said they tried to trick her.
Yes.
How?
They tried, very good. They took a document which was utterly innocuous, and without her in the room, they stamped it secret. She comes in the room and they hand her the document. Do you recognize this? No, I don't recognize it. Do you recognize the secret marking on it? She goes, no, and in fact, there's nothing secret in this document at all, so she didn't fall for the trick. And the FBI is permitted to do things like that.
But
on the other hand...
That proves that she knows what's secret and what's not.
Yes, that was the reason for it. She would lose either way. That would show that she has the... Isn't this ridiculous? We're talking about her mental capacity. She has the mental capacity to read a document and decide whether it's secret or not. So in the margin of many of these documents is the letter C. Now, almost anybody in law enforcement or in the intelligence community knows that C represents confidential, the lowest of the 3 levels of classification. Confidential is the lowest, secret's the middle, top secret is the most sensitive. She said she didn't know what that meant. It is inconceivable that she didn't know what that meant.
She said it was numbering the paragraph.
She thought it was She thought there was an A. She thought there was an A and B that she didn't see.
Well,
she signed an oath her first day on office after a 2-hour FBI tutorial in which they explained all this to her, that she understood these markings.
Judge, since you went through all this stuff, and I've heard news reportage about this, that apparently because she said, you know, I don't recall, so many times, at some point,
39.
Well, that's according to the FBI, but it's not a verbatim, so it's hard telling how many times she said it. She essentially blamed her concussion on the reason why she couldn't remember stuff.
That will help her legally, but in my view, it's catastrophic politically. If she's going to say, because of my health problems, I don't remember what the law is.
And that's what she said,
I don't know what is secret, top secret, and confidential. How can she be the President of the United States? She's going to have to answer for that.
That's not good. What about, she says that Bill Clinton should not have to resign from the Clinton Foundation, so if she becomes president, so he should be taking in money from donors while she's president.
We already know that he was taking in money from donors while she was Secretary of State, and those donors were giving money to him in order to get access to her. In some quarters, that's called bribery. This federal government doesn't call it bribery. They have a soft phrase called pay for play. In my view, it's absolutely unlawful. But in the next couple of weeks, you are going to see things about the Clinton Foundation that's going to cause her to change her mind. You're going to see that for many years it was never a registered charity. For many years it took donations from people and told them they could take it as tax deductions, and they couldn't, and they owe that money back to the IRS.
Oh.
For many years, the numbers that they reported to the government of donations did not match up with what the donors said they gave. And you'll also see the amounts of money that Bill Clinton personally received grossly out of proportion to what a charity should be paying somebody on its board.
So, and we're about to get the rest of her schedule to see if the AP is going to conclude the same thing they did last time, that 60% of all the people that visited her has some connection to, in private, had some connection to the foundation. But real quick, what does it tell you about destroying the BlackBerries with a hammer, having 13 devices, and deleting even though Congress told them not to delete? Does that mean anything?
It was wrong for the FBI not to recommend indictment. I think that they were big-footed by the West Wing of the White House. They were told not to do it.
So the FBI, are you saying the FBI was political?
I'm saying the FBI was told what to do. A lot of the FBI agents involved in this case are furious at the outcome. Hard-working, decent law enforcement men and women who devoted a year of their lives to find out if there's a crime here and believe that it was, and for political reasons they couldn't do it. But to Brian's question, the destruction of a BlackBerry, remember she said she used 1, she used 13. The destruction of that is obstruction of justice, and nobody was charged for it.
And not one Democrat has come out to condemn this. They've only backed her. Thanks so much, Judge,
You're
for
welcome,
doing all your hard
guys.
work.
Pleasure.